What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Final Boss Garage. Today we are doing Silverado things, and today's video is directed towards anybody with a 2014 to 2018 Silverado or GMC Sierra. Got a huge upgrade for our truck. We installed a 12-inch Gen 5 Linkswell stereo. In this video we're going to go over all the positives, the negatives, and everything I like about it. So if you're in the market for a new stereo, this is worth a watch. If you've bought this stereo and you're trying to figure out how to install it, this is a helpful video as well. Go ahead and start with our Linkswell Gen 5 car radio unboxing. So, side of the box, key features: 12.1 inch high def IP5 Android tablet, P/6, 4 gigabytes, 64 gigs processor, runs Android 9.0 Oreo, built-in DSP Sirius XM, ready HDMI outputs, 3x5 volt RCA outputs, AM FM radio, USB music, video playback, Apple and Android iPhone link, Bluetooth 4.2 with BLE. It's Wi-Fi capable, Google Play Store app supports, Google Chrome web browser, factory matched harness, factory matched bezels, factory camera retention, and 3 camera inputs for your front, rear, and right. So let's open her up. Just a quick overview of everything in the box. Got our side bezels, got our screen looking good, and then mounting brackets, adapter cables, and more adapter cables, and then our wiring diagram. I have been driving around with this installed in my truck for over a month now, so I probably have spent a good 60-70 hours with this and have made up my mind whether or not I like it. I've definitely discovered anything that is an issue, and I'm going to go ahead and share those things with you so you can decide if this product is worth the money you would like to spend. Alright, this is the home screen. This is like any other Android tablet. You have full access to the Android App Store, so anything on the Android App Store you can download on this. You have the ability to hook this up to the internet. I have this hooked up to a hotspot on my phone currently. I can go to Google. I can pull up the apps. I can pull up Netflix and watch Netflix right now. I can check my email. I can go to the App Store. I can download Disney, you know, whatever you need for road trips, for your kids, anything like that. Quick press of the climate button pulls up your climate control options. You can change your blower location. You can change your fan speed. You also have quicker buttons here for controlling them. Power buttons for the AC and whatnot. You could change your modes, and then you can also change your recirculating options here. Let's go ahead and take a look at startup and see how long it takes. Right now is a waiting screen to connect to the Bluetooth on my phone. That's 30 seconds though. That full 30 seconds you have full access to the Android area. So you can go straight into any of those options you'd like to do. For phone link, I've noticed it does take a while. I've noticed sometimes it takes up to 2 minutes to connect. My phone doesn't always auto connect to it either, like the original head unit. On the original head unit, I'd get in my car, I'd start it, and within 20 seconds of me driving away, my Spotify has already opened and started playing music. This has been a little different. So 1 minute and 40 seconds to get into your wireless Apple CarPlay. On both my 2015 and my 2017 Silverado, neither one of those came with wireless Apple CarPlay, and this having wireless Apple CarPlay was huge for me. Not having to worry about hooking up my charging port to the center console and being able to get in and just keep my phone in my pocket and have full access to Apple CarPlay is huge. If you don't know what Apple CarPlay is, it's basically what your iPhone is. It also has Android Auto. I've never used Android Auto, so not quite sure what that's like, but for the Apple CarPlay, everything works good. I have no issues. My stereo controls, they still work. You press your button, it still pops up on your stereo. That works. Everything still works like it should. Let's check out the backup camera. So the backup camera quality is pretty similar to your other one. It still moves with the screen. As you get close to stuff, it'll still light up here like it did. This does also have options for installing multiple cameras. Now, in the 60 hours I have been using this, I haven't experienced a single freeze. Like, the system hasn't frozen, it hasn't reset, it's never turned off on me randomly. So they do earn points for that. Even though it's not perfected, it does seem like it's fairly reliable. Every time I turn the car on, it does what it's supposed to do. It never freezes going back and forth, nothing like that. Let's talk about the things I don't like about the Linkswell Gen 5 head unit. After a 60 hours or so of driving with this head unit, I think I have found the problems that I don't like. The first one is the HVAC controls. If you notice, I'm going to go to HVAC, so climate. I'm going to go all the way down to 0 on fan speed. My fan is still blowing, and the power on that shows it's off, saying the air is off, but it's still blowing. If I go all the way up, there are 8 fan speeds. When I get to 8 at the highest, the air turns off. So that's backwards. So max is 7 and off is 8. That's the only difference. The wireless Apple CarPlay has about a 2-second delay. If I were to pull up TikTok and try to watch a video or something while I'm like in a parking lot, I have to listen. The videos, it doesn't match up. That kind of drives me nuts. The startup time takes 1 minute and 40 seconds. Not that big of a deal. It's not like an issue. Most of the time I'm in the car for 45 minutes. That's how long my commute is to work each way. So, you know, 1.5 minutes there doesn't bother me. One of the things I really don't like about this is I am a giant music guy. I listen to a ton of music, and the presets on this are really crazy. The presets on this don't make a lot of sense to me. I don't understand it, and I'm sure if you're somebody who understands audio settings, you might be able to navigate it a little better. So as far as user friendliness goes, I'm going to deduct points for that because the settings just don't make sense to me. We are in the audio settings page right now. If you look, you have rock, popular, classic, vocal, jazz, and normal. None of these settings sound good, in my opinion. The factory head unit presets are much better, and being able to change those between rock and you know, hip hop, stuff like that, changes it to where it's appropriate. On this, you change it to rock. I don't even know what this is. This giant slant, like, to me, it looks like they're just changing, they're just doing designs. All these are adjustable, but it doesn't show you what you're adjusting. The rock is absolutely overloaded with bass. It just has the bass all the way up, and it just doesn't sound good. Popular, it just kind of throws everything up. Like, none of the presets go with how the music should be. I do love the way this looks. It is really nice. It has really changed the way I feel about my truck, and it's made it feel very modern. And the wireless Apple CarPlay is basically all I use. I don't use the Netflix, I don't browse, you know, on the internet, nothing like that. But having the Netflix on there is a pretty cool option. You can use Netflix while driving and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. If you're doing a road trip and you got people in your car, you know, huge points for that. And then just being able to, you know, a giant map, like, this is, a lot of cars have Apple CarPlay, but having Apple CarPlay on a 12-inch screen is really awesome, you know. And then, you know, being able to have my Spotify on here, and it's just, all of it's been really nice to have. So it has greatly improved the feeling of the vehicle. I just think there's a few things that need to be straightened out. If you're not a big music person and you don't really care about having like the perfect sound quality, you know, this is probably a pretty good option for you. If you're not going to sit in a parking lot and scroll through your phone, and that 2-second delay doesn't bother you, that's cool. The 2-second delay has zero effect on my music because I'm not watching music videos, I'm just listening to audio, and it just plays music like regular, you know. Alright guys, I hope this has answered some of your questions if you're debating on buying a big screen infotainment system for your Silverado. If you're still in the market and you're looking, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, because I actually have another stereo touchscreen that's bigger than this getting installed as well, that I will be posting a video about in 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that, and as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Let's go ahead and get into everything involved in taking the factory head unit out of your 2014 to 2018 either GMC Sierra or Chevy Silverado. First thing I always do anytime I'm doing anything electronic is disconnect the negative battery terminal. For this, all you need is a 10mm. Right here you can see the cable. I've already loosened up my 10mm right there, and I can swing this out of the side. That's going to prevent me from shorting anything out while working on this. Tools you're going to need to complete this job to remove your factory head unit is a 10mm for your negative battery cable, and a 7mm. You could either use a ratchet, I'm using my 1/4-inch impact as it's much quicker, and a plastic pry piece for interior panels. Grab your interior pry tool, start down anywhere you want. The new stereo comes with new bezels, so I'm not that worried about destroying this, but at the same time I would like to keep it as a backup. Okay. You're going to pry all the way around. Careful not to break anything. Everything's going to come off and swing up. Alright, and just like that, my head unit is popped off. On the back of mine, I have 2 plugs here, and here. We're just going to go ahead and pull these out, and then we can drop the faceplate. Now that the bezel's off, we have access to our 4 7mm bolts. Okay, there are 2 clips on the side of this that kind of help just hold the assembly on. All right, and just like that, it breaks loose. All right. And that's all it takes, and your head unit is out. All right, now we're going to get into the controls and taking everything apart to install our stereo. Now, in the user manual, it states you're either going to have the 7 or 8-inch screen. So the 8-inch screen is going to be your IO5/IO6 bag, and you can identify if you have that by whether or not you have a green and a gray plug here. Otherwise, if you have a gray and a doo-doo brown plug here, that means you have the 7-inch IOB, and that's the case you're going to need. Okay, since I have the 8-inch screen, I'm grabbing my IO3 or IO5, IO6 bag, and we're going to go ahead and pull all these contents out. All right, and now we're going to disconnect all of these cables. Alright, so we were going to pull this out, but we need to remove the whole stereo. There's a little like push tab up here. You can push that, and then the this whole unit should come out. There we go. Now I can... Oh, that was a little harder than... Maybe pull this tab. There we go. Alright, so that's off. Remove the whole stereo module. Boom! That's out of the way. Alright, so now we're going to take the harness that was in our IO5/6 bag. Green plugs into green. Okay. Gray plugs into gray. The CD player has to be removed as well. Again, 7mm. There's one on each side. Okay. And on this, we have a black plug like that. And if you have a non-Bose unit, this plug, your little baggie comes with this plug, and it's got little jumper wires on it. We need to plug this into the back of the plug that came out of the CD player. So that's there. Now this gray plug right here is going to get plugged into, this says most audio cable, and this is going to go into this. If you have Bose, you're going to need a separate plug adapter that's sold separately for this. So this comes with the kit, and this is for non-Bose. You're going to have this white plug right here that says to CAN box. Your CAN box is the red box that comes with the kit. You're going to plug this in. It only fits in on one side, so clicks in. The other side of this is going to go to this little, it's got one clip on one side and two on the other, and it says to CAN box climate CTL cable, and this will only fit in on one side. So Okay, make sure those are snug. So you have two plugs on your cam box now. One says to climate control, and then the other one plugs in the back of your radio. So two radio goes to the back of the T-style head unit, and then that gray plug that we had unplugged out of our climate control, that's what this one's going to plug into now. Now we're going to make our way on over to the passenger side of the truck. For your center console, go ahead, open it up. You're going to find two screws, one right here, one right here. These are T15 torque screws. They have the little star in them, T15. And then down here on the bottom, down here, you're going to see a tab here and a tab over there, and they're going to have two more screws as well. After you've pulled all four screws off, open up the top lid like this, and you just have four little pins. Just open and push, or pull, should I say, and it literally just pops out. And we need to do that because we need to access the harness in here. Next thing on your wires you want to find is there is a gray one with a yellow RCA cable on it. It says 2 HMI connector. We're going to need that. That's going to plug in under the dash. And then you're going to have another one. It's going to have on one end, it's going to have a red clip. And on the other end, you're going to have two USBs. GM 8-pin USB harness on that red clip end, and then this side's just going to say USB, and this will say phone link USB. So now down here you have your HDMI module there. Alright, there's not enough lighting under the dash to show you what I'm talking about, so this is the best way I can show you. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plugs down there. You need to disconnect the plug that's farthest to the left, and then you're going to skip one, and then you're going to disconnect the next two, which are both USBs. So in the end, we're going to have a gray plug and then two USBs, and those are going to plug into the ones I just showed you. So I'm going to grab my red plug and the yellow RCA, and I unraveled the wires, and now we're going to run them up through this corner towards the center. And if you reach your hand back here around this corner, you can feel this, and then just pull these through, because these are going to go into the back of the stereo. The big gray plug are going to plug into the gray plug, the green USB, and the black USB. Now next thing on the list is we have to grab our tilt column thing, and we have to pull this straight out. A pair of pliers did really well. You can see it's just this plastic piece, and it's just got tension on it that spreads. So I just wrapped a towel around it, grabbed it with a pair of pliers. It popped right out. So now we need to disconnect this clamshell that protects the whole steering column. I think the bottom just comes and snaps straight up. Alright, my clamshell literally just pulled right down. I didn't even need the pry tool. What we're trying to get to is this plug right here. It is part of the airbag system, so definitely have your negative battery cable undone. And then in your pack of wires, you're going to see this. It's going to have two black plugs, so it's just going to disconnect those, and those are going to plug right in there. And then there's going to be a little pink wire. It's going to say SWC cable on it. So once you plug those in, we're going to feed this SWC cable from underneath the dash up and bring it back and out, because out of our red box harness there's this black cable, and it says SWC right here, and that's going to plug into that. So now, alright, so I fed it through, I have it coming out, and now I'm going to plug it into the one that's labeled SWC. It's black and pink. This one's black and pink, making pink go to pink, black go to black. Next, you need to locate the little baggie that came with 2 ears and a handful of screws. On the back of your head unit, you're going to screw them on the side to where your big hole is facing the edge, not the center. So screw those in like that. Alright, the instructions are really crude, so I'm just kind of going by the seat of my pants. I have the head unit. I've flipped it backwards to give yourself orientation. The blue fuse is on this side. Okay, starting on the left, on the top row, this one says auxiliary in, the gray plug. It's got 3 RCAs. Next to it, on the top row, is the OnStar audio cable. It's got these on there. And then it skips a spot. Then you have a yellow plug that has a ton of RCAs on it, and it's labeled RCA audio output. Then on the bottom row, in this bottom right corner, we have cam input, and then we skip a spot, and then this blue one says DVR cable. Now, the pink cable that we ran from our glove box over there plugs in. So that one says GM 8P or 8P USB harness. So just show me a photo. They don't even really tell me too much. So that plugs into the bottom left. So that one's going to plug in right here. So this says IO3, IO4, IO5, IO6 power cable. We're going to plug that in right under the blue fuse. Okay, that's plugged in. And then pink wire from the dash, or under the passenger seat, is going to go bottom left, like we discussed. Okay. So it says OnStar Audio RCA from the main power plug should plug into the OnStar Audio RCA found on the small blue plug. So this one with the gray plug has OnStar Audio left and right inputs. And then this from the main harness right here, it's part of it. This says OnStar Audio output. They only have left or right, and they only have one of these, so just choose which side you want it coming out of. I'm going to do it on the left side, so it only comes on the driver's side. So that takes care of that. Okay, so grab the yellow RCA that we ran from the glove box. It comes out here, and on the far right, the lower one, the black plug, has a grip of these USBs, or has a grip of these yellow RCAs. You're going to grab the yellow RCA that says factory cam input, and this one says reverse camera output. So we're going to mate those two together. On the red box, you have the one that says to radio, and that plugs in on the side, not part of that whole system. Okay, so that plugged in right there. Alright, on your kit you got your Wi-Fi, came with a Wi-Fi antenna, and it just screws into that little jack right there. I'm not going to run it anywhere particular yet. I haven't made up my mind where I want to put it. Alright, so that's installed, and then I'll just end up tucking that in the dash. In your kit, you also have a GPS. They recommend you set this on the dash, somewhere, you know, up top. I saw some people ran it and they stuck it up top of the windshield behind the mirror. That is a blue plug, and I'm going to plug that in right here. Without dropping it. Alright, so that's plugged in. I'm also just going to tuck that in the dash for right now. That looks like that goes into there, but then where does this plug into? Okay, so that's plugged in, so I mean, it looks like it's going to work. I think it's going to work. There we go. Plugged in. Alright, so that goes into the factory one right here. And it's got a little SKU code on it. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, I'm going to hook the negative battery cable up. We're going to turn her on. Well, there's a lot of unplugged stuff. But that's as far as the instructions go. So I think most of this stuff is for, like, if you want to hook up audio, RCA audio output. I think this is if you're trying to hook up like a 4-channel amp, OnStar car audio output, GM 8-pin harness. I don't know, auxiliary right and in if you're trying to hook stuff up to it. If you're trying to play things on it, you could probably hook up a PlayStation and stuff. There's a lot of like power, ground, and cables and stuff like that, but nothing in the instructions about it. It's there's more camera inputs, front camera power, right camera power. So they make it to where you could add a camera pretty easily. Amp, you want to add an amp. I think my car has an amp in it though. Let's see, multi-camera power, most audio cable. Oh, that's plugged in. All right, I don't know. Let's just go ahead and turn it on and figure it out because I did everything in the instructions. All right, I'm really hoping this airbag doesn't blow up in my face. All right, let's take a look. The AC's on right now. Accept. On your old bezel, if you have heated seats, you got to pull this off. So on the back, just push in the tabs and push it out through the front. Snapped it in, just literally pushed it right in from the front. Got to hook our control back up. By the way, these top 7 mils, putting them back in, pain in the ass. Okay. Turn those back in the hole.